But it's the next bit that I'm going to show you which I think casts serious doubt over the credibility of Neil and what he does. Alright everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome along back to a brand new video today. Now I've never really done a video like this before, but today I'm going to be telling you my problem with Neil Waters and explaining why. Now I'm guessing that quite a few of you who are watching this right now will have experienced or seen or heard about the same as what's happened to me and what I'm about to show you. Now recently, Vice released a YouTube documentary about Neil looking for the thylacines in Australia. It was a pretty interesting documentary. It was more about Neil and Neil's search rather than like Tasmanian Tigers and stuff, but I thought it was a pretty good watch. It was quite nice. It basically portrays Neil in a very good light. It comes across as like a very friendly, lovable character, but is all as it seems. Before I get into that though, I recently did a caption competition. Now, stay with me because this does actually have relevance to Neil Waters, believe it or not. There were loads of responses and I thank you so much for that. It was pretty mad. There was honestly loads, but here are some of my favourites on the screen right now that had me cracking up. But the winner of them all for me, which made me laugh the most, has got to be this one right here. So a big shout out to you for this, and I think is going to encapsulate this whole video, so well done. But not only that, one of the comments on this caption competition was from the Thylacine Awareness Group of Australia, or TAGOA for short, and it said this: "Damn it, Thylacine Awareness Group of Australia have reported me for stealing their videos again." Now, for those that don't know, TAGOA is run by Neil Waters. But let's talk about why it's come to this. Let's talk about why Neil is posting that on my caption competition. I mean, how has he even seen it? Now, I've had a lot of people talk to me before about Neil Waters and their experiences of him. How he apparently runs his TAGOA group like a cult, and if you argue against anything that he says, he'll kick you out. If you question him, he'll kick you out. If you question anything, he'll kick you out. But I don't have the evidence to show you that, so what I will do is provide receipts from my own experience. So, here is my problem with Neil Waters. Let's take you back to the start, shall we? Now, before I'd ever made a video on the Tasmanian Tiger, like many of you watching this, I went down the rabbit hole on YouTube of looking at thylacines and this, that and the other, watching all the thylacine content that I could have, and then eventually I came across TAGOA, and then I was presented with Neil Waters. And to me, this was really cool. Here was a guy out in Australia actually doing the field work, collecting sightings from people, collecting samples, doing all these certain things, and he was out and about looking. And for me, that just seemed wicked. I was hooked. This is quality, an animal I'm obsessed with, and there's someone actually providing updates on their search for them. Sign me up. I watched a lot of videos, I found quite a lot of them quite interesting, and I've probably commented on some of the older ones and that. And I watched the documentary they did as well. It's about an hour and a half long. Because of that, I joined their Facebook group just so I could keep up to date and follow the search and like what was going on. And then obviously, being a YouTuber, I decided to make a video on the Tasmanian Tiger as it's something I'm interested in, and it was just a 5-minute video, nothing special. Now, if we skip forward to this video here, in short, it's a Mexican fella who thinks he's seen a thylacine in an abandoned zoo in Mexico. Weird video. If you haven't seen it, check it out at some point. But the reason I'm telling you about this right now is because this is where I get my first interaction with Neil. Now, bear in mind, I've never spoken to him before. I've only ever seen like the videos he's posted. Literally no communication whatsoever. But he goes and posts this comment. Like, what? Like, what does that even mean? I think I was just more confused. I was like, is he insulting me? Is he insulting the person I'm talking about? What is going on? Again, I've never had any interaction with him or TAGOA, so this was just all a bit bizarre. And that was it until February of this year, and we all know what happened then. The pictures. So it was massive news, right? The video, "We found a thylacine." That was published to the world, and I thought genuinely, oh my god, this is it. We finally got what we want. They found it.
Congratulations, everyone. We've done it.
So in a week, I made 3 videos on it, keeping everyone up to date, like being basically a news channel for the Tasmanian Tiger at that point, because I was so invested. I thought this was so exciting, and in my head, this was the real deal, and it was going to be an absolute madness, and I wanted to be a part of it. But within those 3 videos, I got 2 comments from Neil. The second of the 3 videos got this comment. So here, he's gone at me for credibility, and he's also said he's reported my video, and I can tell you right now, that did nothing, nothing changed, nothing happened, whatever. The third video received this comment, and it's a little bit, wow, it's not very good. So in this one, right, we got some strong words, and we got like an English stereotype joke. I don't know. And then he mentions I have no permission to take his material. By material, he means these 5 pictures that are flashing across the screen right now. And I'm allowed to use these images and flash them across the screen because there is such a thing called fair use law. And seeing as I've just informed you that these are the pictures in question from a video in which I criticised them, it's all okay. Nice one. But anyway, those are my 3 dealings with Neil. He's been quite volatile, and I've never made any comment to him whatsoever. So it is what it is, you know, like, this stuff, it can happen. Do I think it's warranted? No, not really. Does it fit in line with how he's portrayed in the documentary? No. Not at all. Anyway, I've left it alone since then because that was such a massive letdown. But in recent times, I've changed my channel towards more of a wildlife and nature-based channel, and I've made some Tasmanian Tiger videos, which they've done quite well. They've gained a bit of traction, and it made sense to me to make more Tasmanian Tiger videos. So, in that logic, I decided, do you know what would be a fantastic video idea? I'm going to interview Neil Waters.
Congratulations, everyone. We've done it.
We're going to talk about all things thylacine, his pictures, Papua New Guinea. We might agree, we might disagree. It's going to be an unfiltered and raw conversation, and people are going to love it. That was genuinely my thinking. Like, I just thought this would be a really good conversation because we're not going to see eye to eye on some of things, right? But like, I want to know his opinions on Papua New Guinea. What does he think about thylacines potentially being over there? So with this idea in my head, I thought, do you know what? I need to contact him. I'm going to get in touch. I'm going to send him this message. I'm going to ask him, let's do an interview. Look, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do this. It'll be sick. People will love it. And I sent the message, right? So basically a few hours later, I do get myself a response, and I get this. Like, for God's sake, he just literally won't let that go, will he? I'm a thief. Apparently, I'm a thief. Well, anyway, it doesn't stop there. He reels off message after message for the next hour or so. And I'm doing a live stream with my mate at this time. I'm watching my phone just go berserk, and I'm like, he's really going for it, isn't he? Now, if you want to, you can pause here because there's a lot going on. But briefly, he doesn't understand fair use still. I'm only contacting him because he's nailed me. I wouldn't know a pademelon if it bit me in the ass. I'm riding his coattails. I'm rude and arrogant. He's apparently stopped me using his videos, and that's why I want to talk to him now. He's blocked me from TAGOA's Facebook group, and I need an attitude adjustment. Like, I literally don't know what to say. It's just mental message after mental message. The attitude adjustment comment was a bit weird because he started our dialogue together. Our first ever interaction together was him telling me I needed to learn English. So I decided to respond to each individual message. But the best bit for me was the pademelon bit. I wouldn't know one if one bit me on the ass. Which is hilarious because I seem to vividly remember finding a thylacine.
Congratulations, everyone. We've done it.
Yeah, so anyway, he told me I was arrogant, I need to step out of my ego, I'm a thief, and then he blocks me. So, cool. One thing he did do though, is he gave me permission to show these, so nice one, Neil, cheers. It's a bit weird, innit? Because it's gone from me being a fan of him, to then him posting angry comments on my videos, to then him mouthing off in the DMs at me. I'm just like, what have I done? So that's all the interactions we've ever had, right? Nothing else ever. And I just thought I'd bring the receipts just to show you some like proof and be honest and just be transparent about this. Basically, just to show you, he is definitely not how he's portrayed in this documentary. Now, again, I'm not the only one this has happened to. I'm sure you guys have heard of a person called Forrest Galante. Well, Neil went after him as well. He called him a thief and the rest of it. It was just a bit weird. And I think it's all because we talked about his pictures in YouTube videos. But it's the next bit that I'm going to show you which I think casts serious doubt over the credibility of Neil and what he does. Now for me, it's about trust and trusting what someone says. We obviously saw at the early part of this year, Neil made this big show about how they've got unambiguous proof of a thylacine and how that turned out. I think a lot of us lost a lot of trust in what he says at that point. But what struck me in the conversation we had in the DMs is the amount of pure waffle he was speaking. Just waffle about me. To me. He said, I'm contacting him because he's nailed me. What is he actually talking about? I have no idea. Like, he has not nailed me on anything ever. I don't understand. And if he can clarify that, that would be great because I am at a loss there. He also says I'm riding his coattails. What do you mean? I've made around 200 videos. I've got over 2 million views on this channel, and about 3 videos include him, where I'm talking about his pictures. Now, I know this is all fictitious waffle of the highest caliber, right? I know this myself. But the thing that got to me is I thought, well, what if he's telling other people this about me when it's just complete waffle? So that got me thinking, if he could so openly and brazenly just make up a load of absolute rubbish so casually to me, what else could he make up? Well, I did some looking around and I found something a bit weird. Like, these aren't the only 5 images from that spot in that video earlier this year. Neil calls this photo an unambiguous photo of a baby thylacine. We can all make our judgments of it, and I'm pretty sure at the time, I think I might have said it was a baby wallaby, or like a Joey wallaby or something like that. But also at the same time, a lot of people did actually say they think that was a cat. And there are multiple ways you can look at this photo, right? And I'm going to highlight it in 2 ways. Initially, when I see it, I'm seeing an animal moving away from the camera, and that's why I think it's potentially a wallaby, like a baby wallaby hopping away. But a lot of people look at this image and they just see a cat. But now if we flip this and we say the animal is moving towards the camera, then you can see what really looks like a cat's head turned to the side. Here's an actual picture of a cat's head turned to the side in almost exactly the same manner as what you're seeing in this picture. They look very similar. And about a month after the photos were released, Neil actually took to TAGOA to criticise everyone who thought it was actually a cat. He says it's 100% a totally incorrect argument and to put up, shut up, or go away. The overwhelming opinion was cat, and he didn't want to hear it anymore. Now, the amazing part, the utterly astounding part, which for me is like nailing in his own coffin, he posts another picture from the same spot using the same camera, and here it is. It's a cat. It's strikingly similar to the unambiguous photo of a baby thylacine. The so-called stripes in this photo can literally be shadows and tabby cat markings. Maybe it's even the same cat. Maybe it's a kitten of this cat. But why wasn't this ever mentioned among the 5 photos that were released to the public supposedly showing a thylacine? You literally have one of the images here that looks almost identical to what you're calling the unambiguous proof, but instead you spin a different story. The question for me is, did Nick Mooney ever get to see that photo? Did you show him that photo, or did you just give him the 5 and say, deal with that? What do you think of that then? Because I'm pretty sure if you showed him that one as well, it's not looking good. Because context matters in this situation. Like, let's just say hypothetically there are 100 pictures on that camera and that cat shows up more than once. The odds are that in this photo is another cat and not a thylacine. Out of context, you can make a case. You can push your story to the world and get people on your side. You put this photo in for context and you lose everybody immediately. And there's the trust thing for me. Rather than objectively look at these pictures and compare them, we didn't. We got a worldwide media frenzy over some really dodgy pictures. Like, what's going on here?
Congratulations, everyone. We've done it.
This just makes me question everything about Neil and TAGOA and their credibility and authenticity. Like, I genuinely think he actually wants to find one, but are we seeing some like confirmation bias here, or is he just chatting waffle to get a bit of money? Like, what is going on? Because he's shooting himself in the foot over and over and over again. Now, I've said this before in the past when it comes to big cats in the UK, right? Not hearing all sides in an argument creates an echo chamber. An echo chamber in which Neil controls and he will kick out anyone who disagrees. An echo chamber that has people giving them money to fund things. For 120 Australian dollars, you can actually become a part of TAGOA and sponsor them a trail camera. Now, I'm not saying they can't or they shouldn't do that. It's actually a good idea to implement that as it helps with the costs. But the reason I mention that is because the people who are spending that money are just being lied to. It's not transparent, and if it was, those pictures would not have been released in March. They knew about this cat in the photos and they tried to hide it instead. Now, I was also actually kicked out of TAGOA on Facebook, as we've already found out, and Neil's well within his right to do that. But to me, it just stinks of disagreeing with him, and he's creating that echo chamber more and more. It's just not the way to be. It's not healthy. You need a bit of skepticism in anything to make it actually substantial and worthwhile. And I guess that is my problem with Neil Waters. If you don't question him, he's okay, and he's probably a lovable character. But if you do question him, or you show some healthy signs of skepticism, you are exonerated from a group, you're kicked out, you argued with, and to be honest, you sent pretty nasty verbal abuse. Like, I got thick skin, so I don't mind, but like, other people are going to get that and think, what? I'm just saying it's setting like quite a dangerous thing there. Like, there's some manipulation going on. He comes across as this crusading guy who's fighting off all the non-believers so he can find a thylacine, but if you peel back the curtain and see what's there, it's not very nice. Now, that is going to be all for me in this video anyway. I hope that sheds a bit of light on Neil Waters and my experience that I have with him and my problem with him in general. I think what he does is quite interesting, and I applaud the fact that he is actually searching around for the thylacine. But at the same time, you can't create echo chambers and expect to get anywhere. Your credibility is shot to zero. After seeing that picture of a cat, I mean, it's less than, isn't it? And I just think something dodgy's going on here, and I'm not for it. I'm really not. I'm properly against it. But I would still like to interview Neil. I would still like to chat to Neil. I'd still like to get his thoughts on all of this. I'd like to get his thoughts on the pictures, how it went out, Papua New Guinea, all of these things. I think it would make for engaging content, creative listening, and I just think it would be really good. Really good to get both sides of the story. I don't think it will ever happen because echo chambers don't really work in that way, do they? They don't like the opposing view. So it is what it is, and I'm also a thief, so yeah. Anyway, that's going to be it from me. Let me know what you thought about this in the comment section down below. Have you had similar experiences with Neil? What do you make about Neil and TAGOA? Do you think it's worthwhile? Do you think people should like follow this and like take into consideration maybe sponsoring a trail camera for them and stuff like that? Or do you think it's a waste of time and he's leading the blind essentially? What do you think? I've been Cookie anyway. I'll see you in the next one. Like and subscribe. Take care.